All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Racers News Network Live. As you can see, we have our top secret guest right here, the one and only, of course, Mr. Jerron Settles. And we are desperately trying to guilt Pete to come on, battle through it, buddy, and come on and join us and have some fun. But we're going to talk about the points battles that are shaping up, and who knows what else might happen when people start chiming in. So, but for now, what's going on, Jerron?
Nothing much. It's a little tired today. I had a red eye leaving Vegas last night. Had landed in Orlando at 6 o'clock this morning, and got caught in rush hour traffic. Headed straight to the shop, and now I'm home, or not home, but at the house, and waiting to get some sleep. We got to make this
And then
interesting.
I and then I goaded you into coming on anyways.
Yeah, I'm a sucker
So
for drag racing.
cool. So like I said, hopefully Pete will battle through it and show up. But so let's talk about your racing season. We haven't really talked much this year. And how's your season shaping up?
My season has been a roller coaster. Started the year with a win in Phoenix at the double divisional there. Fourth round, the first race, won the second race. Uh, then it just kind of took a turn for the worse. I think it's a turn for the worse, but just wasn't driving well. Couple first round losses, second round loss, and then took a break. Went to Sonoma for the national. Runner up there, turned it one red in the final, which was heartbreaking. Uh, and then just last weekend we were in Bakersfield for the double divisional, and it went right back to driving bad again. Lost a couple good races I should have won, driving bad at the finish line. So we're still not out of it. How can I say this? I'm out of the division championship. I cannot win the division championship this year. Even if I win our one last race, I think I can only go to fourth or fifth, maybe. But still have a legitimate shot at the top 10 in the world. So that's what we're shooting for. We got 3 races left: Vegas National, Vegas Divisional, and then Pomona National. And I'm bettering points at all of those races. So only, I guess, I think haven't looked really. I think maybe 50 or 60 points out of 10th right now. So still got a good shot. So we're just gonna kind of. It's been a good year. I mean, 2 finals and Super Comp in 1 year. I think it's a good year. Super Comp's really tough. A bunch of tough racers. So I'm happy with it. But top 10 would be really nice.
Oh, and you got a couple of Division One heavies that are out west too. You have Tom Stalbo, of course, and Steve Logan.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna. I think they're coming. Jeff Kondradik's coming out. Jeff still has some points to earn too. He's got having a good year. But yeah, we're gonna have. I think Moses, a lot of those guys. It was funny. A couple years ago, they came out for the fall race, and we were actually all in line, like back to back to back to back in the back. Moses, Stalbo, Kondradik, myself. Even though I claimed 7, I still have my one number. But it's like you guys came freaking 3,000 miles to race each other.
too funny.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good end of the year.
Cool. Have you started looking forward to or well, not looking forward, but planning 2025 yet?
As far as work goes, yes. Racing, no. Racing is just it's kind of a year by year deal. Hopefully, the Ted Wings Motorsports team keeps me on next year. Um, I get threatened to be fired per race basically because I drive so bad. But uh, as far as work goes, I'm January's already booked. Pretty much waiting for one answer for January to be booked solid. February's booked, and I actually have 2 cars already booked for May of next year. So booking right now for end of February through March, but from here on out, the year's booked.
Of course, you'll be going to PRI, I assume.
I don't think I'm gonna do PRI this year. Um, I'm a little SEMA and PRI'd out, to be honest with you. I love those places, but it's just so much. I every year for the past probably 5 years I said I'm not going to go to PRI and I end up. So I say right now I'm not going, but yeah, I'll probably be there. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I've got some jobs that I want to try to get done to get home early for Christmas. So PRI kind of always kind of stands on in the way of that. So we'll see. Just depends on how the next month goes.
I would imagine too, you probably get to a certain point where you're like, I really don't want to see another hotel for at least 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, it's this year's gonna be interesting. I'm trying to put together a like end of the year kind of video montage. I will by the time I fly home for Christmas, that will be my 58th flight this year, I believe, and that's not counting layovers. And hotels is right around 40 something hotels and same. Yeah, so this year's been nuts. So yeah, if I can avoid another hotel at PRI and another flight, then yeah, I'm not gonna do it. But this year's been nuts as far as traveling.
Very cool. So let's dive into the point stuff a little bit. Of course, we're gonna cover the national sportsman stuff. Maybe we'll do that first, and maybe if we have time, we'll dig into the pro stuff. But let me give me a second here. I have it pulled up. I just gotta get to it. So obviously, Division 1 actually had a really great Jags All Stars this past weekend at Dallas with Tommy Stalba and Steve Zepka winning. Um, Justin Pachillo running up in Superstock, and Brandon obviously was runner up in Top Sportsman. So they Division 1 did really good at the All Stars. So congratulations to them. And let's see, you want to start out with Top Alcohol Dragster? Does that work for you?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. I like to give a shout out to even though I am D1 at heart, my D7 guys almost got it done. It was a battle that came down to the finals between D7 and D1 for the Jags All Stars, and I think it ended up being Cody Weber held the top dragster held D7's fate, and when he lost in the final, that clinched it for one. So congrats to those guys. But top alcohol dragster has been really kind of I think I say wide open, but there's been a lot of no one's really run kind of run away with it. Hunter Green's had a good year. Jackie's had a good year. There's so many people. That class is just full of talent, full of freaking horsepower. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, 'cause let's see, we got, like I said, Hunter Green's in first. Jackie Frick is in second. She's only 11 points out. The tie for first. They're obviously 12 to take the lead. Sean Cowie's in third. Mike Coughlin in fourth, and Julie Natas is in fifth. And this is going to be her last season in Top Alcohol Dragster. She's going to make the transition to Top Fuel.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I think she's joining the Salinas team, or she may have already drove for them this year at one race. I'm not sure. I've been kind of busy, haven't kept up with that. But yeah, it's gonna be kind of cool. I mean, I haven't looked at how many races she's got left to claim or any of those guys left, but I'm sure Jackie, Hunter, Sean, all those guys will be in Vegas at both the divisional and the national, fighting for that world championship. And there's some implications that still may change down the line because the alcohol dragster semifinals from Pomona has yet to be run, and it's not going to be run, I believe, until Pomona World Finals. They're down to 4 cars, and I believe it was one driver that wasn't scheduled to really race anywhere else but Pomona. So they all 4 drivers agreed they'd run the semifinals in Pomona. So that could be a bit of a shakeup when those points get tallied, later on at Pomona. So that could, I'm not sure who's left, if any of those top 4 or 5. I'm pretty sure Sean Cowie probably in there, being that it was a West Coast race. So that could be something to really shake up some stuff when they run that Winter National finale.
Yeah, because the top four in Top Alcohol Dragster are separated by 21 points, 22 technically, if you want to call it for taking over the lead.
Yeah.
So like Mike Coughlin's at 541. Uh, Sean Cowie 550, Jackie 551, and Hunter Green in first place at 562. So realistically, the top five are still pretty tight because Julian Atas has 523. So one lousy weekend and it's all over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think any of them are. I'm trying to remember who was in that final left at Pomona. Um, just doing a quick check here to see. I believe maybe Joey Severance is still in that final. Um, so he's down in eighth. No, where's he at?
He's
No,
in
he's
12th.
not even in the top 10. So yeah, that could be something. No, he's pretty far out. So even if he won, he probably couldn't go. So maybe the Winter Nationals isn't going to help anybody, but because I don't think Hunter is in that deal, Jackie or Sean. So it's gonna be cool though.
Gonna be a good race. I think I could be wrong. I remember glancing at the points before Dallas, and I think Jackie made up one or two spots from where she was before um, the Dallas race.
Yeah, I think she lost. I don't know if she lost in the semis or I think she might have lost second round in Dallas, but she qualified. She got some
Right.
points. Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be cool. Hunter is also a person that's looking at moving up the top fuel. So I know he's trying to probably go out with a bang. It hasn't been confirmed that he's going to go to top fuel, but I know they are definitely putting him in a position to move to the big show car. So I know he's hungry, uh, and Jackie having never won a world championship, it'd be nice to see her do that. But it's going to be a battle. Like I said, they're all close within 20 points, and that's gonna make for a fun last few races. Even
Absolutely.
some of them could be out of races to claim. Forgive me for not knowing how the alcohol races or points are earned as far as how many they can run. We can run 6 national and our best 3 out of 6 and 8 divisional, best 5 out of 8. I honestly I feel bad for not knowing this, but I don't know what their number of races are with the regional. When they switched it up to regional and national, I don't know how their points are earned. So I'm sure I'm
Right.
gonna get trashed on the internet for that for not knowing.
You're supposed to know everything, Jerron. Come on.
I'm the old encyclopedia drag racing, but I got old. I got grays. I'm losing hair, and I can't remember everything. Sometimes
Yeah, but you're still only like 33. So
I'll be 86 next week. What are you talking about?
all right. So moving on to top alcohol funny car. The championship's already been
It's done.
secured, done, over with by
Yeah,
a ginormous
yeah. It's
margin.
pretty ridiculous what the old 3Bs team did. The Bellemere, Boggs, and Bartone team. I think I think they have 200 or 300 point lead or something goofy like that, and they just run away with it.
246 points.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. And
Yep.
wrapped up with 2 races to go. And
Now, what's interesting, I didn't realize this till about halfway through the year, because as you may or may not know, I like road racing. I like endurance racing. There's a Bartone Brothers road racing team. They race a Mercedes. It's the same Bartones.
yeah, yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah, yeah. Those guys are
So,
deeply rooted in a lot of motorsports. And yeah, I I don't think do they drive the road course car? Does one of them drive?
no, they own it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's for me, being an old alcohol funny car D1 fan, back in the Newberry Manzo days, it's kind of cool to see uh just some different names up there. Obviously Maddie Gordon in second. What a phenomenal year she's had for her first year in alcohol funny car. Uh, Bob McCosh, he's kind of the underdog, favorite. Everybody's guy that you don't expect to win, but boy, he's got such a fast car. I think he might even got his first national win last year and got another one this year. The Howe team, very good funded team. just doesn't seem to have any race day luck. They qualify well, they go rounds, but man, they just race day, it's like, they get beat on a hole shot or have tire shake or something like that. But really solid team, and so it's going to be, I guess, still going to be battle for second. It'd be pretty cool to see Maddie get, second or first year. But yeah, it's going to be. Alcohol funny cars always been pretty interesting with the converter cars versus the cup cars and all that. So
Now, one of the things we've heard a lot about this year with the alcohol funny car is that it seems to be hurting at some events car count wise.
yeah, yeah. From what I heard, a lot of this year was parts mainly. Hard to get parts, and so some of the teams would select to sit out certain races. I don't know how true that is, but that's some of the rumors I've heard. Um, you know, it alcohol funny car hasn't had a ton of cars in years. Obviously the cost of everything has probably pushed a few people out. But yeah, there's a good amount of good solid cars, and the crazy part is mostly all of them are really capable of winning on race day. I mean, except unless Sean Bellam is there, but it's I'm not sure what can be done to help add to the car count over there. I mean, back in the IHRA and versus NHRA days, or IHRA and NHRA, there seemed to be a plethora of both. Now we've got one organization, and we've got less cars than we had when we had two organizations. So I'm not sure what the answer is with Alcohol Funny Car, but would love to see some more support, get some more funding their way.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So the top five in top alcohol funny car again, obviously the championship's already been secured. Sean Bellemere won that this past weekend. Madison Gordon in second, Robert McCosh in third, Robert McCosh Jr., excuse me, in third, Brian Huff in fourth, and Phil Ez,
As yeah,
Ez,
Phil
Ez,
as
okay, in fifth place. So that's everything for top alcohol funny car. And again, we're just doing the national stuff right now. Let's see, comp eliminator. Class I love until you guys start talking about the index.
complicated eliminator, basically. Yeah, which is very simple if know Chinese arithmetic. It's simple. It's but
You
no,
can do it with your eyes closed and your
yeah,
both hands tied behind your back, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I think comp this year, I haven't followed a lot, but I know it's. I don't think anyone's run away with that either. I know Ryan Water, D7 guy, was leading. Not sure if he's still leading or not. And Monty Bogan's having a great year. Um, so I don't know. Again, I'd have to look and see. If I hadn't have been ready to go to sleep all day, I would have done more research, and I apologize. But I'm not sure how many races like Bogan has left, and Cody Lane, those guys that if they have enough to claim, if Bogan's going to make the West Coast trip to either block or still better points. I'm not sure, but I know I think it's still kind of up in the air as far as the championship between Ryan Water and a few of the other comp guys out there.
Ryan Warder has 583 points. He's in first. Cody Lane in second, 574. So I mean 9 points.
Yeah.
Nice tight battle. Monty Bogan, 549, and Robert Bailey in fourth, 547, and Roger Brogdon in fifth with 546. So, and actually, if you go down even to sixth place, Donnie Thompson has 538. So it's can kind of sort of be a six-way battle for the championship there.
Yeah, it just depends on how many races they've run. I'm pretty sure they're similar to us in how many races, how many national events they can claim. Uh, Comp again, I don't think it's too much different. I know Top Dragster, no Super Comp, Superstock, all that. It's 3 and 6 or 3 and 5. I don't know comp. I would guess it's still the same. Again, don't shoot me for not knowing this, but it just would the championship's going to going to depend on that. How many races? If someone's bettering points, I'm sure at this point in the season, no one is still adding. They're just bettering on points because everybody at this point, especially if you're in the top 10, you've gone to 4 or 5 nationals and 6 or 7 divisional races. So it just all depends on what you're bettering. If a guy that's probably the worst place to be for any sportsman racer at the end of the year is to have a bunch of mid-round races, a bunch of fourth rounds and stuff, fifth rounds and stuff like that, because they're hard to better. If you're gonna to get 50 or 60 points and you've got to better a fifth round or fourth round, it's tough to do that because you win the race, you're only gonna get 30. So you kind of need a couple early first round losses so you can have a 30 to better and things like that. So it just all depends on that, what those guys are sitting with and what they can do these last 3 races if they're going to come out and block and try and play the ladder. Maybe knock out Water or Lane. I know Ryan Water and Cody Lane will be at the last 3 races, so whether or not Brogdon and Bailey and those guys want to come out and block or still earn points is going to be interesting. It's good to see it still come down to the last race.
No doubt, because like I said, between 6th and 1st, you're talking 45 points.
Wow, that's pretty tight. Pretty tight for comp, yeah.
All right, super stock. First place, Jeff Dona, 611. Second, Logan Belanger, 599. Third, Jimmy Hidalgo Jr., 591. Fourth, Byron Warner, 581. And fifth, Pete Diagnolo, 580. So let's see, we can go down again. So we got 6, Monty Bogan, 559. 7, Brad Burton, excuse me, 551. Trey Vetter, 550. So, I mean, I would guess that it could go down to like somewhere in the neighborhood of top 10, possibly top 11.
Still have a shot, yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I know. You mentioned Trey Vetter. He had a really good All Stars weekend. He won the All Stars. Didn't have a great national event or division race, but I know he's still looking good nationally because I think he's only run 3 or 4 national events. So he's going to be obviously claiming Vegas and Pomona. So he's someone that could possibly move up, depending on again, what he's going to better. And Jimmy Hidalgo Cooter, he's always a threat. I know he's got a 30 to throw out. I was looking at his points earlier. I know he's got a 30 to throw out nationally. So I know he'll be in Vegas. So he'll be in Pomona. He's got a good shot. Only being like I said, 20 or so points out. It's going to come out to the wire. Again, I'd have to look. I thought Dona might have been already done earning, but I'm not sure. He may have 1 or 2, but it's good. It's going to be interesting. I need to probably look at the Vegas entry list to see who's entered there in Superstock. Obviously I've kept a track on who's entered in Super Comp, but be interested to see if Jeff's coming out to try and block or to try and earn some more points. Like I said, I know for a fact Jimmy will be there, and more likely Byron too. I'm not sure if Byron is claimed out or not, but they sometimes make the trip west to try and get some points.
And let's see, Byron's got 6 nationals, 7 divisionals.
Yeah, so he probably won't be at Vegas. So yeah, he's only got 1 more divisional to claim, so he'll probably use that at Maple Grove next weekend, I believe, is the rescheduled Maple Grove. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, a week from this coming weekend.
Not this week, but the following weekend.
Yeah.
So he'll be done there. So he'll have to hope and put some points on the board there, and possibly, I mean, only being 20 so points you said from Jeff, he could have a good weekend and catch him. Then you just have to wait and see what those other guys do out west. that's a tough position to be in, is sitting at home hoping somebody loses, or you never want anybody to lose, but in this position you're like, oh geez, can you not drive like a champion this weekend?
You just hop in and just go for a cruise.
Yeah, and not even watch. That's probably the best thing to do. But super
All
stocks
right.
always
Oh,
full of.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, just no. I'm saying super stocks just always full of a bunch of hitters, and it seems like it's a different. There's a core group that's similar in the championship race every year, but there's a different, bigger group that's kind of always in there. That gets hot at the end of the year, or gets hot in the middle, or. But it's super stocks always interesting to see who's gonna win the world championship.
Very true. And it always seems like the Warner Brothers they wait till the end of the year, and that's when they really start to travel along.
Yep.
All right. Stock eliminator. All right. Let me take a quick peek here. All right. Jimmy Hidalgo Jr., aka Cooter, 689 points for the number one spot. Number two, Joe Sorensen, 669. Number three, Cody Phillips, 624 points. Number four, Travis Booth, 621. And number five, Josh Decker, 570. So, I mean, you're talking from fifth to first, 131 points.
Yeah, that's gonna be for Cooter to put up 689. That's stout. That's stellar right there. I mean, everybody's dream in the sports ranks is to put up six something. If you can put up 600, you're gonna contend for a championship. But for him to be almost at 700 is wild. And I know for him, he's obviously, like I said, going to Vegas, but I think he's one of those guys that's got a lot of obviously got a lot of points, but he's gonna have to better like fifth and sixth round races or whatever. So he's kind of not saying he can't put up any more. I mean, there's a possibility he'll put up 700 points this year. Um, but I'd have to look and see if Sorensen. I know Sorensen is a D6 guy, I believe, and they've run a lot of races. So Sorensen maybe claimed out. I'm not sure, but Sorensen was what, six? You said six.
Joe Sorensen, 669. So he's 20 back.
That's still wow. That's still a really good year for points wise. Um, like I said, I know he's a West Coast guy, so he'll be in Vegas, and he'll probably be. He may, the six guys only have a couple nationals, so he may not be claimed out nationally.
He's got 4 nationals, 10 divisionals.
Okay, yeah, so he's still earning points. I mean, he can still earn. So just all depends on where he's at, what he's bettering on the national side, and then Cody and Travis Booth. I don't see Cody traveling west. Possibly. I mean, if he's got a legitimate chance, I'm sure they'll load up the Corvette and come out. But that's just it too. A lot of those guys. I did look earlier with some of that. Not today, but a while back, we were looking at points in Bakersfield, and there's a lot of guys in stock that are almost claimed out. So Jimmy's in good shape. Michael Brand, I think, had a really good Dallas. He might have moved himself up, because I'm pretty sure he doubled in one of the All Stars and the National there. So he probably got.
Yeah, he's in sixth place with 558.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not sure how many Nationals he has, but he may be done. But he had a good weekend nonetheless.
Now, you may or may not know the answer to this question. Travis Booth, is that Ellis's brother?
I do know they're related, but I'm not sure how they're related.
Or they're related somehow?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious.
Ellis has the really cool, very slow 4-speed Pinto wagon, I believe. Is that the same Ellis?
Yeah. Yeah, they got the Pinto wagon, the pickup truck, one or two or maybe 14 Mustangs.
That's crazy.
go. All right, so that's stock eliminator. Now, Jerron's favorite class. First off, let's see, where are you? Where are you?
Stupid comp. I believe
Oh,
it's
there you are.
25th.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it.
No, it's okay. You can say it. I'm in, but Super Cup, it's still. I'm not gonna say it's wide open because it's not, but there's still a lot of people that legitimately. It may take a miracle, but there's a lot of people that legitimately still have a shot at the championship. Now, there's a lot of people in that top 25 that are claimed out and can't claim anymore. What's interesting is legitimately Ray Miller leading. Um, I think he only has one more better. I think he only has one more claim divisionally. I think he's done nationally. He has one more. He's got a 30 or a 40 to better, which is good. Um, so he's got to either go to Maple Grove or he's got to go to Vegas. So being he's from Tennessee, I see him going to Maple Grove. But again, I don't know how many out of division races he's won. He legitimately could be stuck where he's at with the 591. And I'll be honest
Right.
with you, I don't think 591 wins the championship this year. It normally takes six something to win the Supercom championship. So I kind of feel bad for Ray because he's had a stellar year. Uh, but I think St. Louis, he went there, had a 30 first and second round. It kind of hurt him when he was able to try to earn some more points. Kobe Fuller, I took $1 from him at Bakersfield. He was behind me in the lanes. I said, let's bet $1 on best reaction time. I lit it up trips in front of him. He gave me the I'm number one sign at the bottom end. But he ended up winning the divisional and moved up really good. He's got, I believe, one more race divisionally to claim. And that's a 30 all. He's got a 30 also. So he could potentially catch Ray. Steve Williams is still really much in the hunt. He's got one more. But that's what makes it interesting is that the top three only have one more race that they can better, right? So they're kind of sitting ducks because there's some guys down lower. Kevin Scholl, who's had a phenomenal divisional year, hasn't really raced a bunch of national events, but he can jump up. I don't know if he's. I know he went to Dallas, didn't have a good Dallas. Went to Charlotte, didn't have a good Charlotte. But I'm not sure if he's going to go to Vegas and Pomona or not. Pretty long toe from PA. I think he's from PA Division One guy, but
Yeah.
he could still catch those guys. Chris Bang, I believe, is still bettering two national events. Devin Eisenhower, I think, is done as far as earning goes. I don't think he can earn any points. I think Dallas was his last points earned. There's a guy, D6, Tom Clark. Tom Clark has had a really good divisional year. Was, I think, in like third or fourth earlier in the year, a couple months ago, and hadn't even run a national event. So I know he went to a couple, had a bad Dallas also, but he's somebody that could get on fire in Vegas and Pomona and possibly catch Ray. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of scary. Jeff Kondratic, I believe, is still in at the Epping race that they're going to finish in Maple Grove, and still has Maple Grove to claim, still has Vegas to claim, and so it's just that's why I said it's wide open. There's a lot of it. Yeah, is it long shots? I'm in 25th, and if I win the next three races, I could catch her. Now,
Well, you figure that the top 12 are only separated, of course, I say only, but only separated by 87 points.
yeah, and I think if you go down even further, I mean, Ray's got 591 in the lead. I'm 25th with 450 or for basically 120 back. So that's 25 back. You could go a little bit further, and it's not even 200 points from 30th or whatever. So no one's taken every. I feel like everyone in Super Cup has had a good, terrible year. Basically, no one's been able to just dominate, and that's cool. That's why I've always thought. A lot of people disagree, but Supercom's one of the hardest classes, if not the hardest classes in drag racing. I mean, the points right here prove it.
Because if you go, all right, to get below 400, you have to go all the way back to 53rd place.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot, and the crazy part about that too is there's a lot of those guys there who haven't run a lot of races, and they've maybe quarterfinal, semi somewhere, and got some decent points, but they could still, if they were able to travel. That's part of the problem with trying to win a national championship is the travel. The travel is pretty tough. I'm very fortunate for the team I drive for that we're able to hit on these races, a number of these races, and we would chase the championship or whatever. But there's so many people that you can't get time off work, you can't, just too expensive to do things. So it's tough to see those good racers sit back and not be able to contend, just because it's too far to go all the way to California or Vegas or that. So, but again, it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be a cool Vegas Pomona. I know the Vegas National it filled up, I think, in 6 minutes in Super Cup because there were so many people trying to make sure they got in, because they could earn points there. And I think Pomona took 9 minutes or something like that. So
Wow. All right, so let's go through the top 5 points nationally. First place, Ray Miller, the third. Second, Colby Fuller. Third, Steve Williams. Number 4, Amanda Boychesko, and number 5, Kevin Shaw.
I forgot about Amanda. She still has a shot, I believe, but I don't think she's going to travel. I could be wrong, but I think she's done nationally, but I think she still has 2 division races that she could possibly better.
She's 6-6 right now.
Yeah, so she's got two division races, which she'll go to Maple Grove, I'm sure of, and I'm not sure if she's still in at the Epping deal or not. But that could those 2 races, could help her. I forgot to mention her, and I apologize, but I know she's got a good shot at the World Championship also.
All right, moving on to Super Gas. Now, before we dive into it, I have a question. I asked Pete the other night, he wasn't 100% sure, so maybe you'll know.
Okay.
First and second are tied at 591. First place, Keith Mayers. Second place, Jeremy Demers. Both, again, tied at 591 points. Let's say right here today, season ended, they're both tied 591. How is that championship decided?
It would go to, I believe, most rounds won, and then I believe after that it would go with most races won, or maybe vice versa. It's either I can say I know in Top Dragster a couple years ago, my teammate Brianna Weens, she was tied for the Top Dragster Division Championship, and it went to the third tiebreaker. They had both won the same amount of races. They both won the same amount of rounds, and the tiebreaker in that class was the average qualifying position for the year, and she beat him out by literally a half a point for qualifying. I think her average might have been 12th and his was 13th or something like that. So Super Gas, I don't obviously you do qualify, but you qualify on the ladder after first round. So I'm gonna guess. I'm pretty sure they would go to either races won or rounds won to determine tiebreaker. And then
Right.
after that, if it keeps going, then they just got to fight it out. Just fight it out.
The drag racers death match.
Yeah, with Mills Lane.
All right. So like I said, first place Keith Mayers, second place Jeremy Demers, third Jeremy Mason, fourth Luke Bagacki, and number 5 Steve Hoyt.
Yeah. So everybody there, Keith is doing a great job. Got that new car. I guess it was new last year, but still new. How cool would that be for him to win a championship with that new car? And pretty much
built new car.
Yeah, and I think his first year full time Super Gas, I believe, because he's always been a super shooter with the Porsche. And Jeremy's having a good year. The problem with that top 5 is the one name you named, and that's Luke Bukaki. Luke has been just a terror for everybody in Supergas for a long time, and I believe he's sitting really good with only 4 claims nationally. Uh, so Keith obviously not going, probably not going to Vegas. Luke's going to be there, so he's kind of in that position to kind of sit and wait. Again, I'm not sure where he's at divisionally, but you know, the Achilles heel for a lot of the West Coast guys for D1 is they still have Maple Grove and the finish for Epping. That could throw a little bit of a wrench in there for somebody that thinks D1 is done and they're not, because every other division is done. There's no more D6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All of those points races are done. There's just one left at Maple Grove and one left at Vegas, and
Right.
we'll see. But I think you can't count Luke out. With him still being able to go to 2 more races and earn points at 2 more national events, and there's 2 more left. I mean, that guy is somebody you got to stop early. So, you know, Jeremy, I don't think I think he might be claimed out also. So, I think my pick is gonna come down between Luke and Keith. Jeremy, I'm pretty sure is done claiming no more nationals unless he's going to make the trip out to Vegas. But I know he's done divisionally. So Keith's got to do good at Maple Grove, trying better, and then hope and pray Luke doesn't get on a Luke rampage.
Yeah, because we got what, 591, and then to get below 500 points, you're talking 12th place, which is Mike Dalrymple with 511.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not sure how many races does Mike have, because he's a D6 guy.
4 and 10.
Yeah, so he'll be at Vegas and Pomona. So he'll be at Vegas, maybe not Pomona, but unless he does well at Vegas, he's somebody that could jump up. Don't think he could jump up to the World Championship, but he could definitely move up a ton of points there too. So all the sportsman ranks, I don't think I'm to make a prediction. I don't think any of them are going to be settled uh, at the Vegas National. I think the Vegas Division, we're going to see some of them capped off. But there's a few that are going to go right down to Pomona, which is really cool.
It's only what, 3 hours from Vegas to Pomona? 4 hours, maybe 4 hours
Yeah,
at the most.
4 hours. Yeah. It's a pretty cool tow out there. I don't like it because I don't like to drive anywhere. No, it is a pretty cool pretty cool drive. That is the one drive or one of the few drives I do in the year, because it's cool going through the mountains and all that. So yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, top dragster. In first place, Dylan Huff. Second place, Cody Weber. Third, Mark Grain. 4, Darian Bosch. Number 5, Blake Peevler. Top 5 are separated by 40 points.
Yeah, top dragster is gonna be tough. I know Darian had a really good chance at the Dallas Divisional, and had some bad luck first and second round, and you know kind of shot himself in the foot there. Mark Graham is the one that I think Dylan's probably the most worried about, because Mark doesn't have a ton of national events, so I think he's claiming everything from here on out. Um, and then Cody had a good Jegs All Stars runner up, but would have had a better national to help him out. But again, I know he has 1 or 2 more claims nationally.
Who are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Cody Weber.
Cody Weber is 4 and 7.
Yeah, so he's got one more national event to claim. Whether he'll do that in Vegas or wait for Pomona to make Dylan sweat it out, who knows? I'd probably wait till Pomona just to keep him in the game. But that's another class where there's a few guys down in there that could still kind of come up. I know. Trying to think, Mark Graham is probably Dylan's biggest worry. because Dylan I know is done claiming. He's been blocking the last 2 or 3 races. Brought in Andy Morrison, Bakersfield to block, and his dad even was blocking in Top Dragster. Um, I know the Peeblers, Blake still. I don't know if Blake's done or not, but I think it's going to be between Mark Graham, Cody, and Dylan. Darian might be done, um, but it's gonna be cool. I know there's some guys down low. I know Zachman that don't have a lot of runs or a lot of claims. Chad Axford. Um, Me and Chad were actually doing the math. If Chad wins out, he would miss Dylan by 1 point. So that would be
Oh, really?
that would be heartbreaking. I think Chad's down in 12th or something like that or whatever. But
Chad Axford, you said, is 13th with 445 points. So he's 20 points essentially out of first place.
yeah, so yeah, that's
Or-
enough. Gonna be down to two or three guys at the end of the year. Mark Graham is the one to watch. If I'd be really surprised if he doesn't go to Vegas. I hadn't looked to see if he's entered, but with him able to earn points at Vegas and promote, I'm pretty sure he'll be there, especially sitting in third. So
All right.
the Howard family will probably pull out all the stops on the blockers at the next couple races, try and go after Mark and Cody. It's gonna be cool though.
Fair enough. All right. Last but not least, of course, talking about top sportsmen. First place, Alan Firestone. Second, David Cook Jr. Third, Bill Yates Sr. Fourth, Curtis Frederick. Fifth, James Hinkle. Let's see. Let's do the top five separated by 1,954 points.
Wow.
What by 54 points? Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, Alan Firestone, excuse me, has had a really good year. David Cook too. David Cook's been on fire all year. I was surprised to hear that. I thought David Cook was leading, but I know he went to Dallas and he wasn't supposed to. He only went to Dallas. I'm not sure if he ran the Dallas National or not, but I know he was the Jegs All Stars rep when. God, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting his name. Our our seven Tasmanian rep blew up a motor and kind of caught on fire and did some damage to the car, so he wasn't able to go. So went in his place. But I think David still got a shot to catch Alan. Alan, I believe, is still bettering some races. He's got a couple races, 1 or 2 to go. He can better. So Hinkle was the early surprise for me that I think I had him penciled in for the championship early this year. He started off really hot. I think went to like 3 files in a row or something like that. And so I'm surprised to hear he's in what, fourth or fifth. He said. Curtis.
James Hinkle in fifth place. He's 515 points.
Yeah. Kurt Frederick had a good Dallas. I believe he won Top Sportsman, beat Brandon in the Jags All Star Final in Top Sportsman, and I believe went pretty late in the national too. So Richard Okerman, that was the guy that was our D7 rep that took his place. But so we'll see. I'm pretty sure Top Sportsman will be settled in Vegas. I think that's one of the classes that after the national, there maybe the divisional will know our Top Sportsman world champion.
Cool. I know that we all know that talking points aren't the most exciting thing, but except for Top Alcohol Dragster, there's a lot of really good races
Yeah.
in each one of the sportsman classes.
Yeah. So hopefully I didn't bore everybody with my points analysis, but but I'm a sportsman guy at heart. I love my sportsman racers. I want everybody to do good, except when they run me. But they seem to do good when they run me anyway, so it doesn't matter. But,
All right, so let's do the 4 pro classes. We'll do just the top. Yeah, we'll do the top 5 again. That's only fair.
sure.
So, top fuel funny car. First place, Justin Ashley. Second, Antron Brown. Excuse me, did I say dragster? I hope I did.
Yeah.
Second, Antron Brown. Third, Sean Langdon. Fourth, Steve Torrance. Fifth, Tony Schumacher. What's your prediction? Let's do predictions on the pros.
So Justin Ashley has a good shot, but I don't think anybody has run away with it. Um, I I think that Mike Neff has been kind of getting his act together with on Schumacher's car. They've been running a lot better towards the end of the year, and Neff's somebody that you definitely can't count out. I think he was looking to do better in Dallas. I think a final round at Dallas would have helped him out a little bit better. Um, Justin seems to have Tony's number though. Whenever they race, Justin just wears Tony out. But um, you know, it's hard to pick one. I guess if I have to pick somebody to win the championship in Top Fuel, uh, I got to go with Sean Langdon. I think Sean's got a good car. Sean is one of the best drivers out there, and I believe more consistent. So if we're looking at consistency, which you need that to win a championship, I think Sean stays more consistent. His driving is more consistent. Whether if his car is there, I'm going to pick Sean Langdon. If he can keep the pipes lit, Sean's going to win the championship this year.
105 points from fifth to first.
What's your prediction?
I'm almost leaning towards Antron Brown.
Yeah, being in second place, that's a good spot to be. How far is he back from Justin in second?
44 out.
I say it shouldn't be much, yeah, because Justin, I think, just went to the points lead after Dallas, I believe. But yeah, and you can never count out Steve Torrance. I mean that's let's see, 3 or 4 time champion. It's anybody's race. Kind of would like to see Tony back in there. I'd like to see him do a little bit better. It's good to see him in fifth. Like I said, they've been having a much better year. Antron's kind of had an up and down year. He's either hot or cold, but he's kind of, I think he's where he at, not because he's won a lot of races, but he's in second because they've just gone rounds, and hey, you almost can't even count out Clay Millican. Clay's got a good car. Jimmo has got the thing flying last half of the season, and you never know what the old Arby's Rick Ware car will do.
Very true. All right, moving on to Top Fuel Funny Car. First place, Austin Prock. Second, John Force. Third, Matt Hagan. Fourth, Ron Capps. And fifth, Bob Tasca the third. Now, question for you. You may or may not know the answer to this. John Force in second place. Does that combine points with what he has got and with Fast Jack?
Yeah, so
running the car?
Yeah, Beckman is running the points for John. He basically,
okay.
When Beckman got in the car, he took over Force's points, and that's why Force is still there. So I forget the exact terminology for it, but he's basically finishing John's season.
And then, of course, he had to withdraw from Dallas this past weekend because of some vertigo issues.
That hurt that team bad, and I just wonder, wow, what happened there? That's a obviously made the best decision by not driving, but wow, that's a situation. I've had that before, and it's almost you just want to throw up the whole time.
Every second, yeah. I've been down that road with it. I've had it a few years ago. It was not fun.
Yeah, so you just wonder what hopefully he's better, and will be good for Vegas in a couple of weeks. But Matt Hagan's another guy you can never count that car out there in the championship hunt every single year. It seems like for the past 5 or 6 years. But Caps also is a good car. Tasca's hot and cold. The thing is either going 440 miles an hour or it's blowing the tires off. But Austin Prock, that car's just been solid all year long. It goes down the track, minimal mistakes, minimal, tire shake, tire smoke. He's very consistent on the tree, and I got to put my money on Austin to win the championship this year. I don't think anybody catches him. Even Beckman having a good year, I don't think he catches him.
Yeah, 'cause it's 147 points between first and second.
Yeah.
And then fifth to first is 211 points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tasca, like I said, Tasca, Caps, Hagen, you can't ever count them out, but I'm going to count them out this time. I don't think anybody catches Austin. It's
Yeah, pretty much all but done.
yep, with 2 races left. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Pro stock. First place, Dallas Glenn. Second, Aaron Stanfield. Third, Greg Anderson. Fourth, Erica Enders. And number 5, Jeg Coughlin Jr. 196 points from fifth to first.
Yeah, and she said Jaggy's in fifth. Yeah, and Jaggy just won the other day, so that helped him move up a little bit. Double A Aaron Stanfield. He's he's having a good year again. Kind of like Hot Coal. Greg Anderson, I feel like really threw a wrench in Dallas's deal by beating him. I guess they beat him in the semis, I believe, last weekend. Dallas could have extended that pretty good, but lost to Greg. Erica, I think this is anybody's race. I mean, I think the fan favorite is Dallas Glenn for sure. But you can't count out Greg, Erica, or Aaron. I mean, when Juggy gets on, there's nobody better. So I still think this one's up in the air. My pick would be Dallas Glenn, but I'm not 100% sure because he's got an army of assassins right behind him. So it could
Right.
go any of those 5.
All right, fair enough. All right, last but not least, on the national side of the universe, Pro Stock Bike. First place, Gage Herrera. Second, Matt Smith. Third, Richard Gadsden. Fourth, Hector Arana Jr. And number 5, Chase Van Zandt. 230 points, fifth to first.
It's good to see it. Gage not run away with it like he has the past, I guess, 2 years, maybe. I can't even remember if it's no. This is just his second year. Okay, sorry for forgetting that, but obviously, Pro Stock Motorcycle is the most. I don't know. I'm the lack of words. I'm trying to keep it clean, but the
I'll say it. There's been a lot of drama.
yeah, there you go. It's good to see that it's not run away with on either side. If you're a Vance and Hines fan, Gage has got a good shot. If you're a Denzo Matt Smith fan, then he's got a good shot. I think honestly, those are the only two, in my opinion, that are gonna win. Gadsden, I believe, if put in a position, is gonna have to fall for Gage. That's just my opinion. Not saying they do that. Hector Jr. has been running good, but I just don't think he's got enough for those top two. And Chase has had a good bike, but it's matter gauge, to be honest with you. And I think it's going to come down to Pomona. It's going to be interesting. I don't even want to pick one on this one. I want to stay out of this dramatic class. I don't want to pick one.
All right. Fair enough. So, all right. So, very briefly, one of the things we talked about before we came on was
How short Pete is?
how short Pete is. Yep. And um, as everybody knows, a couple weeks ago, NMCA, NMRA, they're done and over with after the season. But I did read today that some of the classes are going to be possibly picked up elsewhere. Exactly where, I don't know. But what have you heard in the Jerron Settles universe about it?
The biggest thing I heard really was some of the reasons why they are dissolving everything. Basically, was just from a financial standpoint. They lost a good amount of tracks. One of their major tracks, which was their only West Coast market, Fontana, they closed up, and they had a big West Coast presence out there, and that was a huge moneymaker for them. And then if you look at the tracks they had pre-COVID that they weren't able to get back post-COVID, they lost Atlanta, which we all lost Atlanta, but that was one of their major southern markets. And then Memphis, which was their Midwest huge market to make money in, and then they lost. I drew a blank just now. I'm sorry. There's one more track though. Geez, I can't believe this is embarrassing. They lost tracks where they were able to really make money. Joliet, although Joliet's still open and back racing, I guess they weren't able to sign a contract to get back to Joliet soon enough, and so it just comes down to the point of they weren't making a profit. Whether it was, I think they had good turnout as far as cars, but maybe didn't have the spectator turnout that they needed, and then losing those major markets, especially Fontana, I just think was the nail in the coffin. And then obviously the hurricane hurt them also, which I think they weren't able to have their World Finals this year, if I'm correct on that. Not positive on that, but I know they had a race that was canceled because of the hurricane.
Now you obviously the West Coast is where you do 95% of your racing. What is the West Coast market? Which way is the West Coast market going? Do you think it's getting better or worse as far as racing?
They're losing tracks left and right out there, and it's hard to gauge really because there's they have a little bit of a streetcar presence out there with the streetcar super nationals, whatever, in Vegas. That's a really good big race throughout the year, but that's pretty much it for that style of car, for that NMCA and NMCA or NMRA NMCA style car. um the bracket race scene is nothing like what we have on the East Coast. NHRA has a huge presence. Obviously, that's the biggest deal because there's so many races out there for NHRA. But as far as racing is concerned, period, for the West Coast, it's pretty bleak if you're not an NHRA per se racer. Uh, so it's kind of sad to see those tracks close up and kind of kill the market. I mean, the one thing that already hurts the West Coast is how far they got to travel. You know, we used to complain. I being from Maryland, I complain, oh, I got 3 hours to drive to Maple Grove. Well, those guys drive 13 hours to their nearest race. So that's already something that plays into their minds. And then not losing tracks just makes that situation worse.
All right, cool.
But hopefully somebody picks up some of the NMCA NMRA classes next year. I feel like PDRA should kind of jump on board with that and grab one of their classes. Obviously they probably couldn't do Extreme Pro Mod because they already have Pro Nitrous and whatever, but some of those lower classes, I mean, those are really cool classes that they run, and maybe even NHRA look at picking up something from that deal, because just hate to see those guys with cool cars and nowhere to race.
All right. Next question. Top sportsman, pro mod, top dragster. Do you see a time coming down the road that they're just going to be 8th mile only?
Yeah, that's obviously been talked about a lot with the Sportsman Council. They've talked about it. I know that the West Coast guys don't want 8th mile, and they've just built fast cars. So if you look at the divisions, I can't really speak for 4 or 3, but I know 3 is a very fast division. 1 is typically not very fast, right? And it's not hit on these guys, but 1 is a bracket race area. So, the East Coast is bracket race heavy, right? So you don't have a lot of the 610, 620 cars or whatever. But there's a ton of them in 3. There's a lot of them in 4. There's a ton of them in 7. And those guys want to go fast. They don't want to run 8th mile. So I think it's going to be the battle of who wins. You know, where the car counts are at, where who who cries louder, I guess, basically. You know, I understand it from a safety aspect. Obviously, everybody knows me. I love quarter mile, you know, quarter mile king. But I do understand from a safety aspect, bracket racing probably should stay 8 mile. You know, as much as I'd love to go back quarter mile bracket racing, I understand you just can't go out there and do the things at the finish line that you quarter mile that you can 8 mile going as fast as we're going. Um, but I don't feel like the top sports and top dragster guys have have those issues. You know, they're not going out there locking up the brakes and stuff like that or whatever. Is it easier on parts? I'd like for an engine builder to prove that. You know, it's always been, you know, speculation in my opinion. You hear some guys say, "Oh, it's way easier," then you hear some guys say, "Well, the hardest part of the run is the launch." You know, the first 500, 600 feet is the hardest part. So if that's the case, then is quarter mile bad for your motor? There's so many arguments that go back and forth. You know, like I said, whether it's safety, whether it's easier on parts, track prep, the whole deal. I think it just depends on somebody's gonna have to make that decision. It's gonna have to be discussed, and it needs to be discussed soon. And the decision needs to be made soon. I think it shouldn't keep getting pushed off, and you lose this group because they don't want to run quarter mile. You lose this group because they don't want to run 8 mile. Get together, talk about it, make the decision, be done with it, and hope for the best. But you know, from a drag racing purist fan standpoint, I don't want to watch top sportsman or top drag 8 mile. It does nothing for. I mean, 8 mile bracket racing, very cool. You see them driving the finish line, you see them doing a lot. But would you want to watch pro stock 8 mile? No, you know. So I don't know. It's all in what you like, what you feel comfortable with. But I think, like I said, something needs from a fan standpoint, I would want to watch Top Dragster or Top Sports from 8 mile.
Because I've always one of the things I've heard from some of the top sportsman guys and top dragster guys that I know, um, is that PDRA gets 50, 60, 70 top cars,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and NHRA will get 20, 30, maybe 30, you know, mid 30s, you know, and so everybody seems to be like, well, what's the method to the madness? How come they're running less but getting more cars? You know what I mean?
Well, so to be kind of devil's advocate there, that's true in the sense that if you look at the PDRA field, yeah, there are, let's say, 50 cars, but that last 10 to 15 cars are not, they're fast bracket cars. They're 440, 450 cars, right? Maybe even high 430s. Not saying that's slow, right? But then you look on the top dragster side on the NHRA, if we've got 30 cars that show up, 25 of them are 415 and faster cars. You know what I mean? So they may have more, but is it more quality or just quantity? You know what I mean? You know, I know at the with the divisional in a few weeks in Vegas, they take 64 cars there because there's so many cars show up. Well, it'll still be at 64 cars. It's going to be a 690 bump quarter mile, you know, and that's 64 cars.
Yeah.
Uh, D7 takes 48 at every race, you know, and the D7 divisionals, I've seen it, you know, where you've had to run 670 to get in a 32 car qualified field. And that last, you know, like I said, 10, 15 PDRA cars wouldn't qualify in NHRA either. You know, so again, is it, you know, I'm the type of person that you know, I like to look at all the facts, right? So people, you know, because people want to tell you just that. Well, top PDRA has more cars. Okay, they do, but are all of them fast? You know, and again, this is not a hit on PDRA. Great group, great organization. You know, I love that they have we have that place to race, right? But I've never been one to bash one organization to prove a point or make another one look better. You know,
Right.
it's apples and oranges. Even though they're the same class, it's still 8 mile. I don't think I think that the difference is if you look at the demographics of PDRA, 90% of the races, or I guess 100% of races are on the East Coast. I guess they have Michigan, that's Midwest. But if you hold all your races in a bracket race heavy area, you're going to get the eighth mile support. You know, um, I don't know. One thing I think with the quarter mile, eighth mile topic, one thing that I think that's kind of funny is the bracket finals or the runoff for the bracket championship in Vegas is going to be run quarter mile, and I believe every division except maybe one runs eighth mile for their bracket finals and stuff. So why is that quarter mile? That's something that should probably be eighth mile.
All right. Well, cool. I think we
But
covered quite a bit. Like I said, I know points is kind of like watching the grass grow, but it was definitely worth, said everything but top alcohol funny car. There's a lot of good battles, so we wanted to make sure we hit on that. Um, so gonna gonna send Jerron back to his bedroom, tuck him in, let him go to bed.
I'm going to bed. I'm going. I got a little bit of sleep on the plane, but I got up yesterday in Vegas at 7:50. I know it's hard to believe, but I did. I was up at 7:50. I handled
Yeah.
some no, no, AM. I got up 7:50 a.m., handled some business, did a little bit of work, and then I got on the plane at 10, and I had a red eye from 10. I guess we left at 10:40 something, landed at 5:45, 6 o'clock this morning in Orlando, and I've been up ever since. So yeah, it's it's tiring, but it's the life I chose. So got to finish some helmets, got to finish a couple cars here in Florida, then home for a week or so, then off to Vegas for the national, and yeah, see if we can't pull a top 10 out of my butt.
There you go. Well, the boss wanted me to tell you to call him tomorrow.
Ah, jeez. What do you want me to call him? Shorty? Baldy?
I think he's worried about his house.
Oh, really? Ah, it's fine. It's fine. The trash cans didn't even move. The hurricane was supposed to be big and bad, and it didn't even tear the trash cans. It didn't even take the trash cans. I was really thinking I was going to come back to a disaster, and I'm like, it didn't even move the trash cans. But some some of these areas are still pretty devastated. It's definitely pretty bad, and I feel sorry for a lot of people, and because there's a lot there. I know, fortunately, unfortunately, a lot of the guys at the shop, their houses got flooded, and this is an area that generally is never floods, and they don't have flood insurance, so that's a big issue at this point down here right now, and it's kind of it sucks bad. So hope there's two more that they're talking about out in the Gulf or in the Atlantic somewhere, and I'm hoping that they don't come. I'm getting the heck out of here next week regardless, but hopefully for the people in Florida and all those affected in the Carolinas and Tennessee, hopefully we can get some relief and no more storms this year.
And the crazy thing about the weather down in Florida is that your house could be perfectly fine, and the house to your left and the house to your right could be obliterated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. And, there were so many tornadoes. I think at one point they set a record. It was 29 tornado warnings at one time, and I believe 9 or 8 touched down. And there's some pretty bad damage, tornado damage that happened throughout Central Florida, and it's pretty bad. Unfortunately, sorry about that. Someone text me, but
Huh.
yeah. So hopefully we can make it through the rest of the year with no more. Hopefully those two kind of catch winding, go somewhere else, and don't hit forward anymore.
All
Or
right, Jerron. Well, like I said, we hadn't talked in a while, so I'm glad you were able to come on and hang out. I'm sorry Pete couldn't make it, but there'll always be another time.
yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me, and yeah, next time get me when I'm not about because I literally no joke fought like 4 yawns in this deal. I'm like, don't yawn, you can't yawn on camera, but I'm sorry. So,
Oh,
but
good, my friend. Well, listen, best of luck for the rest of the year. Get yourself some sleep and enjoy.
thanks, Chris. We'll see you.
All right, buddy. Be good.
All right, bye bye.
All right. Jerron settles everybody, I guess, for tonight. Like I said, we talked about some points, some NMCA, NMRA, and made some guesses and some predictions. So it was fun. And sorry Pete couldn't come on with us, but as we watch Jerron's fingers try to figure out what to do. Going to be back next Tuesday. Carol Bell from Lebanon Valley Dragway is going to be joining us. She's got some exciting news about an event coming up, and we'll talk to you all soon. I hope everybody had a good time. I know I did. So thank you for tuning in, checking us out live. We'll talk to you all next week. Take care.